Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. We're sorry for the delay. We had a little bit of technical difficulty there, but we're up and running now. Everything is good. So we want to welcome you to this webinar. We're going to be talking about Power BI with Dynamics NAV. We're going to be having our very own Jeff Pergalski presenting. I know we're all excited to get started, so I will just mention very briefly here. We're going to record this webinar and put it up on our website. It'll be there by the end of the day. So if you want to watch it again or have somebody else in your organization watch it, just log on to innovia.com and you'll be able to see it there. And if you have any questions, go ahead and type them into that question box. I will get them called out and answered for you. So without further ado, Jeff, I will hand it right over to you.
All right, thanks, Abby. Just please confirm that my mic is working okay and you can hear me clearly.
I can hear you well and I can see your screen, so we're good to go.
All right, great. Okay, well, thank you everyone for sticking with us today. We had that little hiccup. I will share with you that I got a flat tire this morning on my way to dropping my son off at school. Clearly, that's not a good way to start your morning when you're presenting a webinar. But pretty excited about this topic, not just because I like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but excited to talk about Microsoft Power BI and especially how it relates to Dynamics NAV. Had the pleasure of spending 2 of the last 3 weeks attending conferences, both the Microsoft Directions in Arizona a couple of weeks ago. That event focuses on partner in the Dynamics space. It gives us a really keen insight into what Microsoft's got planned, kind of a roadmap around the Dynamics products, and also sort of the around the whole Microsoft stack, including Office 365 and these kind of in-between products like Power BI. So heard a lot about it over the last couple weeks. Saw some presentations last week at the User Group Summit down in Tampa, and it just makes me even more excited about the possibilities of Power BI. So just have a really quick slide deck. We'll spend a couple 10 or 15 minutes in just kind of getting a high-level overview of what Power BI means, and then I'm going to take you through the product, and we're going to look at just a couple scenarios. This is designed to be a very high-level view, so if people were coming here hoping to get Power BI issues resolved, I'm going to have to take those questions and get back to you after speaking with smarter people on our team. So my role as a member of the customer engagement team here, I wanted to show this slide so you all understand how to set your expectations low for this in terms of technical. I am a member of the customer engagement team. I'm a pre-sales engineer, and so I'm the guy that makes all the things work in our demo environment, and so I shouldn't be the guy that has technical difficulties. But that is my role here at Innovia. So let's start with just the basic question for those of you that are brand new to BI. What does BI stand for, and specifically how does it relate to us? So certainly most people probably know that BI stands for business intelligence. And let's see. Business intelligence is an umbrella term that refers to a variety of software applications used to analyze an organization's raw data. BI as a discipline is made up of several related activities, probably not every activity that's in this infographic here, but things like data mining, analytical processing of data, querying, and I guess most important for today's discussion, reporting. That's really where I think Power BI can play its greatest role, at least out of the gate. So that is so that's a summary of what business intelligence is. What is Power BI in terms of what does Microsoft say Power BI is? Basically, it's a suite of business analytics tools that allow you to analyze your data and as importantly as the analysis aspect of it, it allows you to share your insights into that data. So Power BI dashboards provide a 360-degree view for business users, trying to assemble the most important data or metrics in one place. So data that is updated in real time and available on any device. So we're going to look at a couple different flavors of Microsoft's Power BI here. This graphic is a little fuzzy, but there are several products within the Power BI family at Microsoft, so we're just going to make sure we're straight on that. When it comes to business intelligence, Microsoft is already a leader. The Power BI product has only been around in this current capacity for a year, a little more, I guess, closer to 2 years. But clearly, Microsoft has been a leader in the space. You know, the big data tools that Microsoft has available to them and has put in the hands of customers through products like SQL Server, even Microsoft Excel as a data manipulation tool, probably the #1 tool that most businesses in the small to medium-sized business space focus on and use every day. So Microsoft's been around. Gartner, in their Magic Quadrants, lists Microsoft as certainly in the leader quadrant when it comes to what they're doing with business intelligence. So even though the Power BI product's fairly new to the market, they are they're in the lead. So, but as typical Microsoft, there are lots of options, and as I said, the different flavors under the Power BI umbrella in Microsoft, and this is sometimes what I guess frustrates me in the Microsoft world is when I'm trying to educate and trying to educate myself and clients, trying to understand how many, you know, like okay, Power BI, is this Power BI desktop? Is it Power BI mobile? Is it Power BI embedded? Because each of those things, each of those products means something different, has different limitations and different functional areas that they're strong in. So it's important to understand what how they differ, and so we're gonna just take a look briefly at those. Essentially, I think the differences between the real differences between Power BI desktop and Power BI embedded. Power BI embedded is a really high-end data analytics tool that allows you to put Power BI dashboards into pretty much any application that's got a API you can program to. But so that one's a little bit different. We're not really going to speak much about that today, but Power BI and Power BI Desktop, whether it's the online or desktop version, similar to the Microsoft Office program, they are very similar. The online version very similar to the desktop version. We'll look at both of those in a little bit. So the question always when it comes to a Microsoft product, since at least in the past you've always had to pay for something, how do you buy it? So essentially there's the next just the next two slides speak to the differences between the free version of Power BI and the Power BI Pro version. As you can see, the Power BI standard is free, and Power BI Pro is $10 per user per month. So in large organizations, you know, several hundred people, certainly Power BI Pro can start to get expensive. It can be added to Office 365 accounts. It does not require the entire organization be on that platform. But as we start to, at least on this first slide, the main difference is in terms of data capacity. 1 gig per user versus 10 gigs per user. And depending on the data sets that you're looking at, certainly any NAV database, putting data in a portal that Office 365 is going to gain access to, that is that 1 gig limit has not been prohibitive. In the customers that we have been setting up for that, the free version is almost always the solution that makes sense. 10 gigs as a capacity limit is per month is consuming a whole lot of data. You know, I mean, because when we're looking at these dashboards, we're talking about updating them. We're not talking about moving your data. We're only creating connections to your data. So it's not like if your NAV database is 40 gigs and you're going to connect it to Power BI, you're going to exceed the limits. It's just that you're going to need to see the tables and fields that you're exposing, and odds are those are very small amounts of data. So you can see here, this starts to build the value of what you can do with it, creating personal dashboards, authoring content with the Power BI desktop app, which again is slightly different than the Microsoft Office products. A lot of the Microsoft Office products are available. The online versions of them are available for free. If you've got Windows Live ID, they are available for a couple dollars a month with most Office 365 plans, most of them including the web apps. But then if you want the desktop version of Excel or Outlook, then you're having to pay either the monthly fee or you're purchasing the software. So this limitation isn't the case in the Power BI world. You can use the Power BI desktop app the same as the online version, whether you are a paid-for monthly subscriber to the Pro version or not. So explore data with natural language. That is something that is part of Power BI that really makes it a cool product that allows you to type search words in, such as, you know, what are my top 5 inventory items? What are my, you know, most profitable items? Who are my top 5 customers? Those sorts of scenarios are available in either case, but that's something that you can do with Power BI that we'll show you the limitations of later. And again, these dashboards that we're creating in Power BI are available on mobile devices. They exist on the web, so pretty much any device that you've got, you can use an app to get it, or you can get to it through the mobile web. And so let me just get to the next slide that calls out just the other differences between there. So the main difference that I guess differentiates the paid-for version of Power BI at $10 a month and the free version is the refresh schedule. So so I have found that to be more of a decision maker for the few clients that have had to go the Pro route. It has to do with the refresh, and when it's depending on what your data is like, there are certain scenarios where a daily refresh of data, you know, if it's inventory position and you want to give your salespeople a dashboard that shows them inventory in real time, and I guess you can't see me doing the air quotes for real time, but real time meaning as quick as Power BI can get is hourly. So so if you need that sort of information, you're in a volatile inventory position because you're struggling to keep up for demand, and you are selling seasonal stuff that you need to know as your sales rep walks in the door what he's got available, what he can promise. then probably the Pro version is going to be what you need. If it's okay for you to have a daily refresh of data, if you're talking financials, cash flow, prospects, those sort of things that you don't need updated hourly, then the free version is still going to be okay for you. There is, if you're using streaming data, there are some limits to 10,000 rows per hour. For certain databases, that seems ridiculous, but for others, that certainly the 1 million rows per hour that the paid-for version gives you is a pretty high ceiling. Again, consuming live data sources with full interactivity is something you only get in the paid-for version, and accessing on-premises data using the data connectivity gateways, which actually is something more than most people need as well, because on-premises using data connectivity gateways is a specific way to connect to on-premise data, not the default way. So being able to then, from the collaboration standpoint, that's really where Microsoft sees the value in the subscription version of it. Being able to create, publish, and view organizational content packs. Again, this will make a little bit more sense when we jump into the product here in a minute, but essentially there are different ways to share and consume data, and creating dashboards and sharing them through a link to people does not require that you create organizational content packs like it shows in this chart, which would be a requirement of, you'd be required to have the Pro version of this. So data catalog and shared data queries, and then being able to do row-level security for users and groups. So certainly out of the box, most organizations aren't going to need this level of Power BI, unless you are coming from a previous Power BI solution. I shouldn't say Power BI, but a previous PI solution where you've got reports already existing. Maybe they are in Excel spreadsheets. Maybe you're using a tool like Jet Reports, and you've got security concerns about that data. You're exposing tables and fields that you don't want to give everyone access to. You need to start locking down some of those on a role level basis. Then you're going to need that. But again, sort of in the scenario of walk before you run, I think it's a really good plan as you start to evaluate this solution and what it means for your organization, that you start with the free version. And use that to kick the tires. So there's an asterisk here, or not really an asterisk, but every user consuming Power BI Pro content requires a Power BI Pro license, and so that's an important distinction. Unlike some other reporting tools like, let's say, Jet, where you can have a single person or a group of people be Jet designers, and then have people consume those that don't require the designer license. If you're going to create content that is specific to Power BI Pro, anyone consuming that content is going to need to be a Power BI Pro user. So that's an important distinction. So as I said earlier, there is a Power BI mobile app, and the only thing I guess that's unique about this is that it is surprisingly also available from the Windows Store. So not the Windows Phone Store, but it will run on a Windows tablet. A lot of Microsoft products that they use for the masses come out first on iOS and Android, and then hopefully they come back to the Windows Store. This mobile app is, as you see the examples of the screens here, essentially what you're trying to do is just give data visualizations to your mobile users, whether those mobile users are on the warehouse floor, the production floor, out traveling, meeting customers and clients, or just on the go, and the CEO at the airport that wants to check into cash flow, and essentially creating data and looks into your data without the need for let's say it's going to be ERP data that you're sharing from Dynamics NAV. Can you share this data can you share NAV data in a way that doesn't require your users to get a full-blown NAV license or a limited NAV license without violating the multiplexing policy of Microsoft, where you're having multiple users gain access to the system through a single account. So that is one of the spaces when it comes to reporting that I think this really makes sense. It is because it does allow you to share pertinent data. Certainly you're not manipulating data, you're not, even though you've got some ability to drill down to see what builds up these nice fancy flowcharts and dashboards, you don't have the ability to click back all the way to NAV to make a change or to dig in even deeper. So it is a good way to share data without consuming licenses, and that's as everyone's workforce gets more mobile, that's an important consideration. Power BI embedded, again, it similar to the Power BI application, desktop or online application, lets you create visually impactful and interactive reports, all without writing any code. So, again, a lot of drag and drop and rich data models using formulas and relationships, but at a really high level. And this embedded, again, allows you to drop this on your website if that's pertinent. It allows you to drop it into any other application that you've got that you can program the APIs to. So something that struck me with Power BI is it's a new set of tools in the family of like Power Apps that is, Microsoft is really empowering users to get a better handle on their data without requiring a lot of help from IT. So Power Apps is similar to Power BI. Connect to the things you already have, build apps without code, and publish and use them within your organization and share them out on the internet for the rest of the world if it's pertinent. So that is something that I heard from Microsoft over the last couple of weeks that is really, I think, with the release of this family of projects really kind of taking over, putting the power in the hands of the user and allowing them to create without a lot of prep time or an understanding of code. Microsoft Flow, another one of these. So Power Apps, Flow, Microsoft BI, Power BI. Automating tasks, creating if this then that sort of scenarios, being able to do that with drag and drop and answering just a few questions. That is the premise that these new apps from Microsoft that sort of are the in-between products, and I don't mean to say in-between with a negative connotation, but in-between in that they are connecting different services and applications in the Microsoft stack, and even beyond that into all kinds of other platforms, and the glue that kind of holds all those things together or allows you to connect them. So speaking of connections and what can you connect to with Power BI, certainly there are 60 different. You see some of the big competitors to Microsoft just in this top 12 preview screen with Salesforce, Google Analytics. There's so it's a very wide platform. So being able to connect things like your ERP database to some of these other external databases is something that, just a few years ago was a monumental task, and it was something that only really mature or really large organizations at an enterprise level could handle. Now that's that hurdle has been cleared with the release of products like PowerBI. It's really pretty straightforward. So again, just their sort of elevator pitch on what PowerBI is. Running your whole business on one dashboard. That's sort of the idea of the role center in NAV, and putting the appropriate data front and center for your users. That's the goal. Power BI is simply a tool that allows you to do that in a meaningful way. So without further ado, let me get out of this. Just give me a minute, and I am going to take you to a Power BI window. So get that to the right screen as you look at the desktop background. All right, here we go. So don't mind the fact that I'm signed in as Jenny Hollingsworth. I actually had to use her login to get this, but I thought this was actually this is content that we created for Flat Out DMS Power Sports vertical in NAV. But this is Power BI, and this is a dashboard that we created that is we sort of thought about what would be some information if we wanted to collect pertinent information for most people in the organization, sales, management. What would we want to show them, considering that they're going to be consuming this data outside the office? And so this is what we came up with. We put there are 6 visualizations on this page. You can create multiple pages. You can create as many as I guess, depending on the format. You see, even with this, you're looking at this on a full screen web browser. There's a lot of data here. There's a lot going on. It's probably about the limit of what you wanted to do. For people that are concerned about inventory position, you can remove. You see some of the icons here. There's a pin that you can keep this here and make changes to the rest of it. You can interact with this data. So essentially, let's just give you a little bit of the background on how this was created. So there is a connection that we've enabled with Microsoft Dynamics NAV that this data is coming from. That we're connecting to the OData feed of the SQL database, and so again, this as an application, we do need to authenticate to the database as a best practice. We'd recommend not using probably someone's user account, although you could, someone who had authorization to that, to everything that all the data, all the tables you want to consume here. But what we did is create a Power BI user within NAV. That Power BI user would consume a license. So being short on licenses, you can use someone else in the organization, and then you wouldn't be required to get another license. But we're just authenticating to the database, telling SQL it's okay for this account to pull data. And on the backside, and this is the NAV 2016 instance that we are connecting to, I mean, it's as long as you've got the OData connection open, which you probably do for other reporting mechanisms. That's all you need to do. You do need to, if you're running this on premises, you do need to open that connection in your firewall as well. If you are in a hosted environment, same thing goes true, although that's automated a lot for you. But essentially, creating the connection to NAV is as easy as that. And once you're there, you determine, we had to, so the way that we designed this dashboard is we thought, what do we want to show? We want to have a map on here that shows customers by location, so that if a salesperson is using this and he wants to, as he's cruising around the upper Midwest, he wants to check in on some customers, he can find that graphically here. Maybe we take this a step further and we interact, we allow this, the data that's on here to interact with the GPS on his mobile device, and it shows him where he is in relation to these. But at this point, this is just a chart based on zip code of our users. And as you can see here, when it comes to visualizations, this is where we start to build what we want to see, what sort of things we want to see, and that is item sales by dollars. We decided this chart we wanted to be a pie chart, so that's how we created it. And as you see, these charts are linked. So when I click on, if I look at item sales, and then I'm going to go over here into the field to show, under item sales, I went into to that table and I started to look at the item categories and the sales amounts. And that sales amount is totaled by item category code. So for item category code ORV, I've had just under $20,000 of sales from items in that category. And when I click on that, it starts to show me then in the other charts that are also accessing those fields, it starts to show me that, okay, this is where in January, that's where all my sales came from. So that $19,998, that's here in this pie chart, also showing up down here as we're checking this 2015 versus 2016 sales chart. That is that again has the this is a number of items that is being charted here. It's not dollar volume, but again, it's telling me that that there's 5 items. So I can start to see how this data relates. I can see how much of my inventory position is being taken up by that account, and then also I can see customers who have bought from that, and that's all just from clicking in, because all of this is accessing the same data feed. It's all related. So that's kind of cool. As I change product categories, some of these products are purchased here. Some are referenced on these charts. Sometimes they're so small that I don't have a reference that you can see easily. But it's pretty cool to be able to get that sort of visualization going from just setting up a single connection. So I'm refreshing the page right now, which is not actually refreshing data as it looks. It's, if you notice that timing circle there in the middle of the screen was showing loading data. So even though I refreshed the screen, that didn't change anything about my data. But in the edit report, that's where I start to make visualizations. One of the really interesting things, I guess, is that as it gets to we chose the colors here, the gray and red. All of these things are customizable. So you want to start to reinforce your brand identity. Even just for internal users, you would start to pick these colors, pick these palettes, putting these sorts of sharing these and sending these dashboards as HTML files to other users, potentially external users, if there's data on here that you feel like sharing with them. That is, you have the ability to completely control that. A place for some creativity that has been I guess something that I've kind of kept my eye on. The visualizations actually are something that I think is really cool. So Power BI custom visuals, essentially what you can do is anything that you want. So people, organizations have created Power BI visuals, like the liquid fill gauge. So let's say you're running a sales promotion and you're, or let's say you are a open book management type of organization like Innovia, and you want to show just an easy, whether it's a thermometer or this liquid fill gauge, you can start to build these, and then once you build them, you can share them with everyone. You can keep them to yourself, but you can, as you get an idea here of the sorts of things that people have been creating, there's some really cool visualizations, and it is completely flexible. You can do anything. You can do anything you want, is going as far as completing or creating something completely from scratch. So so downloading those and then or creating something custom is as easy as a click of a button here and importing a custom visual. So so you can make, let's say you make bikes and you want a fill chart that is shaped like a bike. You don't need to get too crazy to do it. You can look around the gallery. You can create your own. It is some really cool stuff. So this is so this dashboard I've created is is using Power BI Online essentially. And I think that's sort of the story around Power BI. What you want to do is create dashboards that are highly mobile and that are easily created. So this is a dashboard created in the Power BI Online world. I've also got this screen here. I'm running Power BI Desktop. I'm not sure if you can see that across the top, but again, if you look at, if we toggle back and forth between those screens, you start to get an idea. The visualizations, the fields, it's all the same. So you can create content in, and essentially that was the when I was creating content for the online dashboard, I did it two different ways. First way was to create it using the desktop app, and then publish it to the online world, so I could share stuff that sits on your desktop, doesn't do your organization a whole lot of good. So when you create content, and essentially, I guess I'm going to, so this little chart that I made here is something that you could easily make in Excel, and that is the source actually for this data. We look over here on the left, we see this is the visualization tab. We go to the data tab, and then the relationship tab. So this is how you start to build something from just from something as simple as an Excel spreadsheet. So what I did in this case is I exported some sales orders from NAV using the Excel, the send to Excel functionality in NAV, and then from there, rather than creating a second page in that report, I just pulled that Excel file into to create some visualizations for that. And what that allows me to do, if I'm working on content that I want to keep that sheet on my desktop. Maybe maybe it's pulling data from a bunch of different sheets, or maybe I want to keep this on my network, but I want to share the visualizations from it. It's a way to allow me to keep control of the source data, but still share some interesting visualizations built around that. And that is the aspect of reporting I think that Power BI really shines through on, is just making your data stand out. So this is an example of an Excel spreadsheet. The sources, if I I guess so I've created this data. What do I want to do with it? So I can publish it. Publishing to Power BI, there's a pyramid analytics. If you're really if you happen to have a pyramid analytics server in your organization, which I'm guessing most don't, most of the time publishing to Power BI is what you're going to want to do with this. You can also save these files. They are saved as a .pbi file. So anything that you are creating in the desktop app, similar to to an Excel file being an XLSX file, this creates a PBIX file, and that file can be used. You can share it in other ways. You can put it in your OneDrive for Business and open that up in any other application that has Power BI Desktop installed. You can, let's say you've created something that you want to repeat or that you want others to be able to use. You can create templates from it. In terms of options and settings, looking at the data source settings, this is, in this case of an Excel spreadsheet, it's not very interesting because it's a file that lives on my desktop. Checking if you want to set global permissions around that from a security standpoint. You probably wouldn't do it just on the data option of a report, but you could. Essentially, that is creating a new visual here is as easy as clicking that button on the ribbon. Let's say I want something like this, or let's go with what could be. So if we want to use location code, I don't think I've got that set up on the. I do. Oh, so it's not GPS location code, it is warehouse location code, which is showing the amount here. But so the map visualization is not a good one. All right, so let's start to look at like totals based on, we want to do a bar chart. So this is the, this is the how easy it is to create visualizations once you create that connection and looking into your NAV data in a secure manner that helps your data stand out is really, I think, where Power BI shines. You've got the ability to edit colors. Any of these charts that exist in Power BI, you can highlight the data again. Not like a report that exists inside of NAV that you can drill all the way down into and get to the actual list views and documents that show, but you do get an idea of where this data is coming from through the hover feature. Let's see, I've got another instance here. So this is the liquid fill gauge. They've got some different flavors here. So let's say you've got one that you want to upload to your visualizations in online or the desktop version. You can see the different versions that this John Gallant has created, and you can tweak them as necessary. You've got all the information in terms of colors, thicknesses, etc. That's all set up, and I mean, really easy for you to plop this on and tell the your Power BI interface what you want to link to, what number you want in your organization, what table, what field is represented here, and it's as easy as exposing that. So getting back to our NAV data that exists here, and I'll just go. So again, we mentioned some of the limitations. This is this report is we've created some dashboards. They quantify over here, or I should say they qualify a report as different than a dashboard depending on the amount of, you know, you can see that the data that exists in here that builds this out. Do I want to analyze that in Excel? Clicking that button tells me that I need the latest version of Excel, so we are going to cancel that. And that is, I guess, an important thing to call out here, that we need to have all of this stuff works in terms of the Excel integration in Excel 2016. I believe this demo laptop has 2013 on it. So you know, we've got reports here building. Here we've got a different visualization, but essentially going to saving a workspace. So whatever you're working on in Power BI, you can save that workspace, and you can share that workspace. If I want to put more data sources besides my just my NAV data that exists here, so as I start to look at what numbers are relevant based on this is the these are the options, and it is as simple as this to if you're using Power BI Pro and you are creating organizational content packs, clicking on this arrow will this should bring me to something that that tells me that I don't have any organizational. So even though I don't have any apps here, it's looking at App Source. I can find something. Services, pulling again organizational services. Now these in this case, if we browse down, we started to see a list of this on my slides, but you see Dynamics, AX, Financial, Retail, Azure Enterprise. So if you want to start to chart your the data that you are consuming in Azure, you can do that. Microsoft Dynamics NAV just exists here as a service, and clicking on that, whether it is a SQL database, and you see here this is basically all that is needed to get you connected, assuming you've got a properly configured OData feed on your NAV server. So you can connect to NAV that way. You can go to the import a database app, and then you start to look at SQL services, SQL servers, SQL Server analysis services, Azure. You know, it's you can add your own content. It is it's really a pretty basic idea, and I think that really the way to as we're, let's see, running out of time here rapidly, the best way to kind of get a feel for this beyond looking around online is creating an account for yourself, a free account, using your business email address. I believe that's the only requirement, that it can't be a free email address that you use to sign up for. But start playing with an Excel spreadsheet that's important to your organization. Every organization has at least one Excel spreadsheet that, whether it's production data, sales data, whatever it is, but start by importing a Excel spreadsheet. You don't need to connect to your NAV database. You can dump something out of NAV and start to get an idea of how easy or difficult or intuitive it is for you to play in this space. It's you know, we have found that customers have really taken to this sort of manipulation of their data, being able to produce cool visualizations that are repeatable, that you can share. That is really what Power BI is about. And then once you start to get an idea of, like, yes, this looks like something that maybe we get a little bit of help from with someone, a partner that's got some Power BI expertise, and then we take it from there. It's really a cool, fun tool. I like the visual aspects of it, but it's something that really is I think the stepping stone towards where the future that Microsoft is painting for all of us in terms of business data, cloud first, mobile first, all the things that Microsoft has been telling us. These products like Power BI are the stepping stones. So becoming comfortable with them and understanding sort of how they work and how easy it is to gain access to data without needing any programmer's help is something I think all of us should be getting used to. So I think with that, Abby, I will turn it back over to you. We've just a couple minutes left if there are any questions.
Thanks, Jeff. So far we do not have any questions. I just want to remind everybody, I know that was a lot to take in, but if you have any questions for Jeff, go ahead and type them into that question box, and I will call them out and get them answered for you. And while we're waiting to see if anybody has any questions, just as a reminder, we have recorded this presentation, and we're going to put it up on our website. So by the end of the day, you'll be able to go to our website and view it. So you'll just have to go to innovia.com, and it'll be right there for you to see. And Jeff, I don't have any questions.
Awesome. All right, I'm just going to put my email address, phone number on there in case anyone wants to reach out direct. Again, as Abby said, this will be up on our site, and if anyone has any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out.
Good news, Jeff. We did just get one question. Here it is. Can visualizations be brought into a NAV dashboard?
Yes. Unfortunately, that does require a little bit of customization of that page that they are going to be brought into. But if you're interested in finding out more about that, ping me and I'll send you some links that describes how that's accomplished.
Fantastic. Well, with that, I just want to thank everybody for attending our webinar today. And Jeff, thank you so much for your presentation. Again, like Jeff said, you can get in touch with him directly, or you can contact anybody here at Innovia, and we'll either answer questions for you or send you on over to Jeff. So with that, I want to thank everybody for attending, and we hope to see you at our next webinar.
All right. Thanks, Abby.